One evening, Parvati, the wife of Shiva, instructed a gunner to stand guard outside her palace. She told the gunner to prevent anyone from entering, as she would be bathing. However, when Shiva arrived, the gunner did not stop him, much to Parvati's annoyance. Parvati was well aware that all gunners were loyal to Lord Shiva, and she would have to create a gunner of her own. Using the saffron paste from her own body, she did just this. The boy was so endearing that Parvati made him her very own son. Parvati dressed her son and gave him a staff. Much like with the first gunner, she instructed her boy to stand guard outside her palace and not allow anyone inside without her permission. Later that day, when Shiva tried to enter the palace, the boy refused. He struck him with his staff, leaving Lord Shiva furious and boiling with rage. This did not deter the youth, who simply raised his staff and struck Shiva again. Shiva turned to his gunners and ordered them to get rid of the boy. The son of Parvati would not be scared off. He turned to the gunners and yelled, "I am the son of Parvati. You are the gunners of Shiva. You must carry out his orders and I hers. Shiva will not enter without my mother's permission." The gunners conveyed the boy's message to Shiva, who ordered them to return and defeat the boy. They did not succeed. The boy grabbed his iron club and whirled it about, breaking the hands, legs and heads of many gunners. The few that were still standing fled as fast as their feet could take them. This uproar grabbed the attention of Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. They visited Lord Shiva and offered him their services. Shiva was still enraged that a child was standing between him and his wife. He sent Brahma to fetch the boy. Brahma, accompanied by his sages and dressed like a Brahmin, made his way to Parvati's palace. However, as soon as he spotted Brahma, the child jumped forward and attacked. Brahma was taken aback. He pleaded, "I have not come here to fight. I have come to make peace. Listen to me." The child merely lifted his club menacingly as a reply. The news incensed Shiva, and he summoned his son Kartikeya. Kartikeya and Indra were given the simple task: destroy the child. The Devas, led by Indra, and the Ganas, led by Kartikeya, surrounded the boy on all sides. But the boy would still not stand down. He took on the entire army valiantly and single-handedly. The news of this attack made its way to Parvati, who was now furious by the harassment her son was facing. Then and there, she created two Shaktis, Kali and Durga. Kali stood between the boy and the enemy. She opened her mouth wide and swallowed all their weapons, and immediately hurled it right back at them. It didn't end there for the army. Durga took the form of lightning and destroyed the enemy's weapons before they could even reach the boy. The Shaktis made sure no weapon came near the boy and his swinging club. The armies were completely routed. Even Kartikeya, the slayer of the invincible Taraksura, was helpless. They returned to Shiva, utterly defeated. Upon their arrival, Indra addressed Shiva, "O Lord, we have seen and heard of so many battles, but we have never seen or heard of such a warrior." Their praise only succeeded in further infuriating Shiva, and he decided to take matters into his own hands. The boy was unperturbed by the sight of Shiva and his army. He attacked the chief gods, and one by one they all fell. Shiva watched the fight in amazement. The boy is invincible. He can only be killed by cunning. I must wait for the right opportunity. The very same thought occurred to Vishnu, who offered to use his powers of illusion to fight the boy. Kali and Durga, the boy's protectors, conferred all their strengths towards the boy. So eventually, Vishnu's Maya was ineffectual. Now, accompanied by the added strength, the boy flung his club towards Vishnu. Vishnu had to use all his energy to avoid it. Shiva, at that very moment, charged forward with his trident, but the boy immediately knocked it away. Shiva took his bow, and that too was broken by the boy's club. Just then, Vishnu returned and the boy lifted his club, ready to strike again. This time though, the club was cut into two by Vishnu's chakra. Not one to be stopped, the boy flung the remaining piece towards Vishnu. Garuda, Vishnu's mount, caught the piece in his beak. As the boy picked up his staff, ready to attack Vishnu, Shiva snuck up from behind him. Flinging his trident forward, he cut off the boy's head. For a moment, there was silence. Everyone fixed their gaze on the valiant hero. And then, the Devas and Ganas became jubilant. But Shiva was troubled. How shall I face Parvati? He was created by her, and that made him my son too. Shiva's troubles were not misplaced. Parvati was furious when she learned of her son's death. In her fury, she created hundreds and thousands of Shaktis. And to them, she left one simple command: destroy them all. The Shaktis started carrying out Parvati's command, much to Vishnu and Brahma's horror. They knew only one person could stop this. They met with Parvati and begged, "Oh great goddess, please, please have mercy on us." Parvati agreed to stop the Shaktis, but only if her demands were met. The duo took her demands to Shiva, who had no choice but to agree to them. He ordered them to bring the head of the first creature that crossed them, to fit it on the boy's head and bring him back to life. The first creature to cross them was a single-tusked elephant, and its head was soon attached to the boy's body. The boy was then brought back to life, but Parvati was far from pleased. The boy's status was still a mystery. That's when Shiva bowed in front of her and said, "This valiant youth shall be another son of mine." Placing his hand on the boy's head, Shiva announced, "You shall be Ganesha, chief of all Ganas. You shall also be called Vigneshwara, the remover of obstacles. You shall be worthy of worship forever." Shiva and Parvati began once again to live happily in Mount Kailash, delighted this time by the presence of not one but two sons. Till today, before any new venture is undertaken, we seek the blessings of Ganesha, the remover of all obstacles. This video was adapted from an Amar Chitra Katha comic. If you liked it, then click on the button above to buy this or any other book from Amar Chitra Katha. And remember to like and share and subscribe for many more stories from India's favorite storyteller, Amar Chitra Katha.